Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing the latest Pixar film, Turning Red. Just premiered on Disney Plus. Skipped out on theaters. It is still Oscar eligible though, since it was a planned theatrical release. It is directed by Domi Shi, a previous Oscar winner for the animated short film Bow. Um, let's jump in. This has been very well critically received, sitting at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83 on Metacritic. It looks like this could be a potential animated feature contender by the end of the year. But Thomas, what were your thoughts on the film?
So to put it bluntly, I didn't like it. I did not like this film very much at all. And there are a lot of reasons why this film would never have appealed to me. Firstly, I don't really like the hyperactive animation style that like a lot of the Lord and Miller films have going for it. I hear anime has a lot of this sort of, this hyperactive animation style that just, I don't know, something about it just does not appeal to me. Um, and that does draw me out of the film. Their facial expressions for all the characters. I just find it a bit too cartoonish, and it's just not the style of animation that works for me. Secondly, like a lot of this film is based on cringe humor, which I often find to be my least favorite type of comedy to watch. When it's just characters in awkward situations. So I just think I don't want to be watching this. Like it's awkward, it's embarrassing. It's meant to be that. Yeah, this film does a good job of presenting this embarrassment, this awkwardness, but equally, it's not something I really want to watch going into a film. And thirdly, it's a very personal film. You can tell this film is from personal experiences from the director, but equally, I was never a 13-year-old girl. If I ever was, that would be some weird time travel shenanigans that would have to happen to for that to be a thing. But yeah, I never have been a 13-year-old girl, and so that it just did not work for me. Like I found the main character to be annoying. I found all her friends to be quite annoying, and overall, I just thought this film was quite annoying to watch, to be honest. Which is a shame because it's Pixar. I love Pixar. Just didn't work for me this one.
Okay, yeah, we have very different opinions. I think that this is one of the greatest films that Pixar has ever made. Um,
Okay, wow.
and yeah, here's why. I love the animation style. I love when Lord Miller does do it. I love how this was presented. I think it perfectly fit with how the characters were feeling internally, as far as all of the emotional stress, and to have it be hyperactive, a lot of, especially with all of the emotional changes back and forth. I think having a lot of these really quick changes and really over the top and animation set pieces worked really, really well and really, really serviced the film a lot. I think as far as I know, I didn't really get like it being based on cringe humor, I guess. Um, I think that the film is trying to be stressful and it's trying to be uncomfortable. And I don't know if you're supposed like I don't think that the film is wanting you to laugh at the situations. Like I think it
No, maybe
wants
not cringe humor, but still
young.
a film that is based on like cringing at these awkward situations. Like, I don't want to watch a film that makes me feel awkward. Like, I just don't.
Well, I mean, what about Shiva Baby? You put that at 4 stars.
I
I mean,
did, but equally, that is different.
how how that was
I don't know. That
that was
worked
even
better.
more
I just think
awkwardly
it was the
presented than
whole
this.
package that was put together that just did not work for me. Like Shiv Baby had great performances going on. Everything about Shiv Baby from a screenplay perspective just worked a lot better than this because the story in this is just like very predictable. Like you know exactly where it's going at pretty much every point in the film. Um, so it just didn't. It never captivated me. And it never engaged me in the same way Shiver Baby did.
That's fair. Like I agree, the screenplay is fairly predictable. But yeah, no, I didn't. And again, I feel like you're the yes, I think that the main character and her friends are annoying, and they're supposed to be annoying, and that's part of the
Hmm.
point. Like, I mean, I know I think this does a really good job of really personalizing the relationship between parent and child. and understanding that relationship. I don't think it doesn't paint either of them out to be good or bad. I don't think either of them is like the clear cut, this is who you're supposed to be rooting for, this is who you're not supposed to be rooting for. I mean, I think that both of them have their flaws and both of them have their good qualities. I think that the mother in this situation um, was affected tremendously by like multi-generational trauma, which I think that this film is what Encanto wishes it was as far as exploration of themes. I think like you see how deeply affected she is by that, and I think uh, a lot of a lot of scenes where she isn't interacting with her daughter is presented in a really sympathetic way. Um, and I think with the like you said, it's a very personal film, and I think looking back at yourself, because I think the lead character is very obviously the director at a younger age. I think being able
Yeah,
to look
yeah,
back at yourself and understand a lot of your flaws is, I mean, one, that's a really important thing for all of us to do, to understand that, maybe we all were really annoying when we were younger. And understanding why our parents were frustrated with us when we were younger. But also understanding that, like, our parents aren't always like the best all of the time. Sometimes our parents can make mistakes, and like creating like a compromise and like a bridge between the two characters. Um, and creating an understanding between them and almost being able to bond over the multi-generational trauma that has been passed on, because there's so many like threads and so many characters that are brought in that like it seems almost confused, like where this like started, or why this even why the characters are, I don't want to get spoilery, but like why the characters are acting this way to begin with. um and yeah, just like everything about how it tackled um like the emotional beats, I think hit very very well. And like we talked about how we were a bit disappointed that this wasn't going to be an allegory for anxiety, but I think like it does dive into a lot of themes of anxiety, and how anxiety can affect you when you're younger, and how that could potentially have a lasting effect on you when you're older, which I think is touched on a little bit in the ending. um, and where these anxious moments in your life, and some things will seem bigger than they are in hindsight, and some things will seem smaller than they are in hindsight. Like, yeah, no, I think that this is very easily the best Disney and Pixar film since Soul. I think it's better than anything that they put out last year as far as Raya, Luca, and Encanto, by far. Like, I think it's really close to Soul. It might even be better than Soul for me. Like, yeah, just all of, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that you have to be a 13-year-old or have been a 13-year-old girl to like understand this. Like, I don't think it's like very specifically about like specifically pigeonholes it as like a film about like a feminine experience. I think that the themes are fairly universal, as far as feeling anxiety and tension between other generations, and coming to a compromise between generations to
yeah. I mean, whether
understand.
you can relate to a story personally, that is completely subjective. That is
Yeah.
very, like, that's as subjective as you can get. Whether
Yes.
you specifically can relate to a story. And for me, I just felt I couldn't. Which, and for you, if you could, fair enough. And that may be where the bulk of this disagreement comes from. Like, thematically, as you're saying, I think this one was very strong. But, I mean, it's Pixar, what do you expect? So, all the family stuff, I mean, the allegory is very unsubtle, but it's in a similar way to Don't Look Up being a very unsubtle allegory. That's okay. It's the purpose of the film. You know,
Right.
it's not just lazy messaging. So I was fine with all that, and thematically, this is a very well done story. But at its core, I find the main character's annoying. It's designed to be awkward. I just couldn't relate to it. Its the animation style doesn't work. And for a Pixar film, like Pixar they usually pride themselves on like accessibility. And for me, I felt it lacked that. Like
Oh,
all
I
of
thought
their
that this was
films, pretty
very
much.
accessible. I thought that this was one of their most accessible films to a wide
Really, you
audience.
think? You
Yeah,
think
like
kids and adults
I think
can
this
sit down
yeah,
and watch this together?
oh, 100%. I think that this works as like one of the best connections between both like adult viewers and like child viewers. I think that like similar to like Inside Out, which is one of I it's that's my favorite Pixar film. I think that it's a film that tackles themes like it tackles its themes from an unbiased perspective, and it understands and sympathizes with both the parent and the child in the situation. Like it isn't just about like being rebellious. I would say like similar to Lady Bird, where it sympathizes both the mother character and the daughter character. And I think that depending on what stage you are in life, you're going to get a very different experience out of the film and get a very different understanding and read into each of the characters. Like, yeah, I thought that this was like this walked the balance perfectly. Of it was it was an incredibly personal film that I think is also incredibly accessible, and I think that's being reflected in a lot of um, like the general reception that this film is getting.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. It didn't work for me. Like you mentioned, this like Finding Nemo. I think explores some similar themes actually. Like with this parent-child relationship, the child rebellious in nature, and the parents' overprotectiveness. You know, it's exploring some similar themes there. I do think that does it better, of course. Bao as well. I mean, this is basically just an extended version of Bao. So you know, I just think these things have been done before. It's not doing anything new, which it's a problem with Pixar in general. We do hold them up to this golden standard. They have to be like this level of quality, but that is because they've proven that they can do that. You know, like when they made Soul, it was basically exploring the meaning of life. That is a pretty big topic, a pretty big, you know, philosophical question to answer. And it became one of their best films, you know. And this is maybe a problem with Pixar in general, that we do hold them up to such a high candle that, you know, anything that just feels a bit simplistic in a way, I guess this film could be described as, it just feels a bit subpar for them, and it can come across as disappointing. You know, if you compare this to a lot of DreamWorks films, or you know, films in that vein, yeah, it's doing a lot of stuff better than that. But
Yeah.
just from Pixar, as a Pixar fan, and this is just does sound quite fanboy, you know. I want Pixar to be great, you know, but that is true. I expected better from Pixar.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like yes, it's an extension of Bao, but I think it dives into the themes a lot bigger. Like I don't know, I think that this is fairly unique because it isn't just the themes on the surface; it combines the themes with the personal experience. Like, and I guess that's what I'm saying as far as the balance. Like, it is both a very personal film while also exploring, I think, pretty universal and accessible themes to everybody, and I think that's why it feels unique, I guess, compared to yeah, if it lacked the personal element and the extreme, I would say, tender personalization of each of these characters. Like, I know I feel like this could have been very over the top, and it never really felt that over the top to me. So,
Mm.
but yeah, what is your rating of the film?
I'd probably go for a 4 based on like thematic
And you think that's
impact
better
it
than
has.
most DreamWorks films?
Pardon?
You think a 4 is better than most DreamWorks films?
No, so I'm saying that it is made worse because of the fact it is a Pixar film, and I did expect more going into it.
Okay.
Having said that, yes, most DreamWorks films aren't very good. So
Below 4. All right. I'm going to be placing this at an 8.5,
okay, wow.
teetering on a 9. So yeah, this is a pretty big disparity here. Similar to, I would say, films like Tragedy of Macbeth,
Yeah,
where we feel
or
very
Eternals
differently.
as well.
Eternals is another one, yeah, that I
I
liked a
always
lot
seem
more.
to hate these films, which
I
is,
know.
you
Well,
know,
you like
I
House of
like to
Gucci a
like
lot more.
films. I'm not just a
You
negative
like House
person,
of
I
Gucci
promise.
a lot more than I do.
Yeah, that is true.
What's your rating of House of Gucci?
I'd probably run that about a 6.5.
Okay, it's like a 2 for me. So
There
see,
we go.
there are some things that I hate a lot more. So
Yeah. What's your rank for Green Book?
Green
That's
Book
not a
is
good
like a
argument.
solid 3.
Okay, okay. That would be a 9 probably for me. So Okay.
See, Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is like a 3 or a 4. Like it's
Yeah, that would probably be around an 8.5.
yep.
So
So,
there you
so
go.
I do hate some stuff, uh,
Yeah.
but that is our review of Turning Red. We are going to go watch the Critics' Choice Awards. But thank you, everybody, so much for watching this. And until next time, stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.